Welcome to the BWI Daily Edition. I'm Thomas Frank Carr. We get the biggest, baddest guests because we are the biggest, baddest Penn State football podcast, and I'm not talking about the giant people on our staff in Greg Pickle and Sean Fitz. We have four-star safety from Alabama, Dakaari Nelson. He's joining the BWI Daily Edition right now.
What's up, everybody?
Here he is, Dakaari Nelson, all the way from Alabama, joining our humble little podcast. Dakaari, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Well, Dale, thanks for having me.
So you're on Christmas break, you said, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I gotta ask. This is such a northerner question. I don't know if you call us Yankees or not, but what is Christmas like in Alabama? I grew up in Pennsylvania. We just got a big snowstorm. I'm excited for Christmas because there's snow on the ground. What gets you and your family in the holiday spirit in the season?
I say the food, because this time of year, everybody down here gets excited for the food. So once you smell the cooking in the air, that's how you know it's holiday time.
So what's your food? What's the thing that gets you most jazzed up for the holidays?
I eat everything. I literally eat everything. So if I smell even the slightest amount of food, I'm gonna get excited.
But I gotta add, cookies. What's going on in your house more than anything this time of year? Is it holiday cookies for parties? Is it the meal itself for Christmas or whatever?
The meal, basically, the whole meal. My dad likes to grill, so once I smell that, or anybody smells that around here, everyone gets excited.
So the grill situation now this is a whole topic. It's kind of like the car at a certain point. Has he given the reins over to you at all? Are you allowed to grill, or is it Dad's grill and you have to watch and learn?
Nah, it's his. I let him have that. Everybody likes the way his grill tastes, so I let him have that.
Oh, and you get to eat it either way. Look at that.
Yeah.
So you're coming fresh off the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Week. How was that experience for you?
It was a great experience. Got to play with a lot of great teammates, a lot of great players. Got to see how it'd be like playing against top talent, such as next year. So I can go ahead and get a look at how that'll be. So it was a great experience.
So how do you feel like you held up against? You mentioned some of the best prospects in America were there. How do you feel like you held up? How do you feel like that went for you?
I feel like I played great. I surprised a lot of people because of how big I am and how fast I move. So to me, I think I played excellent.
So you were at the Penn State Auburn game back in September. I know you talked to our Ryan Snyder about it at the time, but for maybe people who didn't see the article or who weren't following along at that time here on the YouTube channel, what was that experience like for you? How was it being at that game?
It was great, but with me, where I'm from, everybody down on this side of Alabama is Auburn fan. So me going to that game, knowing I'm a Penn State commit, sitting around 20, 50 Auburn fans, it was. I was happy for the team, but it was it felt weird, kind of.
You had to be a little bit quiet, huh? You had to keep it a little contained.
Yeah, sir. Every play that was made, I really jump out my seat, and everybody just looking at me every time Penn State did something good.
Yeah, there was that game. There was a lot for you to be excited about, and so that's a lot of self-restraint, Dakaari. I'm impressed by that. Something else I'm impressed by. I want to confirm 28 hours in the car to get to State College to see Rutgers 2 seasons ago. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. 14 there, 14 back.
Jeez, man. So how did that come together? How did you decide, you know what, we're definitely going to do this?
It actually came from the coaching staff. With me, I didn't have I was in contact with them, but not heavy. So they got in contact with my parents, and they got up with them and made sure that they made it happen. So and then when I got there, they set the bar really high for everybody else.
I hate driving, Dakaari, and 14 hours is a long time. I'm surprised it wasn't longer coming from Alabama all the way up to State College. So kudos to you for making that trip. Personally, I probably would have flown if I could have. And this, if you give me 1 second here, Dakaari, if you want to go to the Rose Bowl, we've got the way for you to get there. See how I did that? For those of you who haven't made your Rose Bowl travel plans, here's the deal to get you to LA the easy way and at a price that you won't find anywhere else. For just $8.95, you can go nonstop via Southwest Airlines charter flight from Harrisburg to the Hollywood Burbank Airport, LA's easiest in, easy out airport. Now, they leave December 30th and return January 3rd. These tickets, Dakaari, they are on fire right now, and we're trying to get the last couple seats sold. So, round trip nonstop via Southwest Airlines charter flight from Harrisburg to Hollywood Burbank. Book now. Only a few seats remaining. Brought to you by Penn State's longtime travel experts, Collegiate Athletic Travel. For complete details, book your reservation, athletictravel.com, which you're watching here on the YouTube channel. You see at the bottom of the screen, athletictravel.com. And Dakaari, hopefully in the future there's an NIL deal so you don't have to your family doesn't have to drive 14 hours from Alabama just to see you play a game. Because, man, that's a long drive.
It is.
So you took some other, speaking of going to Auburn and some of the visits you've made, some of the trips you've taken, visited some other schools this fall. What factored into those decisions?
Mainly trying to really just giving every school that last chance, basically. Even though, like, even before I committed, I knew it was always Penn State. But, like, this is a life-changing decision. So, like, you basically just want to give every school that's still trying that last chance. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna come, but I just want you to know that I'm locked in here. So you're gonna have to up your game to get me to change my mind.
So it was kind of that you're, like you said, you're making a life-changing decision. You want to make sure that you are completely sure and you've checked all of those boxes?
Yes, sir.
So with that in mind, are you still considering other schools, or are you locked in for Penn State with the early signing period on Wednesday?
I'm locked in for sure.
So then why Penn State? What made it the right fit for you? Why were you so committed to them even with all this other stuff going on? What made them stand out to you?
For one, the way they treated my family. Both times we went up there, because I got three little sisters from ages 4 to 12, and both times we went up there, they made sure that they got what they wanted or needed, no matter what. Like, that for one, and for two, the way Coach Poindexter produces and develops athletes my size and at my position, that right there played a big factor in my decision.
So what's your relationship with Coach Poindexter like? What kind of coach is he from what you've experienced in your interactions so far?
He's a cool, calm. He's very down to earth, a very down to earth coach. He gonna tell you what you need to hear, not what you want. And he's a very cool person.
So what have your interactions been like, and how much have you gotten to know him in this process? And that's coming from the idea that you've probably been in contact a lot, but there is that distance aspect that is a part of this conversation.
I talk to him every day, literally every day. And he just came down here for my home visit the other day, and he was here the week before the All-Star game. So I get to see him and talk to him a lot.
How did the in-home visit go? Was that another one of those days you're excited for the cooking because it's you got guests?
Yeah, it was good because they came to my school first. And for people that don't know, I stay an hour and a half from my school. So they came to the school first, and then we got to chill at school for a little bit. Then they got to see how far I drive for school every day. So that was
so
good.
Here I am complaining about driving however long, and you drive an hour. Would you say an hour and a half to go to school?
Yes, sir.
Oh. See, listen, this is the problem. I grew up in the country, so everywhere was 20 minutes. I can't fathom an hour and a half to go to school. That is so distance has never really been a problem for you.
No.
You mentioned your size and your your abilities. What is the vision for you and Manny Diaz's defense?
How to answer this? The way they plan on using me up there, it's like similar to the way they plan on using Jaquan Brisker.
Mm-hmm.
So the way Coach developed him, and then with Coach Diaz's defensive play style, I got a lot of faith in him.
What do you think your best trait is as a defender?
Uh, my length.
Yeah.
I cover a lot of ground on the back end, and even when I'm down to press, I take up a lot of your space.
If you don't mind, to me, I've always been impressed watching your film of playing on an island. Sometimes you mentioned 6'3". We have you listed at 295 pounds. Corners don't come in your size. And looking at some of this stuff from your junior film, you play a lot of corner for Selma. How much does that factor into how you feel like you translate to the next level?
Uh, with that year, that because early in my high school career, I played a lot of like closer towards the box type player. Then with that year and this year, it really showed my versatility and my good abilities to cover and coverage. So
Uh, you played a little more safety this year, right? I was watching some of your spring game and some of your highlights. Did you play
mhm.
more safety this year?
Yeah, yes, sir. I did, but like every team gonna have that one receiver where it's like if you're not on him, he gonna get at least 20, 25 yards a catch. So some games I would have to be that guy to step up and be like, hey, coach, I'm gonna go over here. I'm finna eliminate him out the game. So I did a little
So,
bit of that this year.
was the moving more towards safety? Was that something in the defense that your coaches wanted, or was that kind of a conversation where you knew you were going to be a safety at the next level and you wanted to get a head start in learning that position in a little more detail?
Actually funny. Coming into high school, I wanted to play quarterback. So like I never intended to play defense at all. No type of defense. So like I was playing quarterback. Then my old offense coordinator, I wasn't getting any reps at quarterback. So I'm like, all right, I ain't messing with this. Then my head coach, he put me on the defensive ball, on the defensive side of the ball as safety. And I went through that season, got my first offer. I started training. Towards the end, that's when COVID hit. So I gained a lot of weight. I jumped from like 180 to like 210 over the 6 months. So then that's when I started become more of the strong safety type player, but still having my speed and my coverage ability from my freshman year. Then after that season, I trained, worked on my speed a lot, and then going into my junior year, that's when I started playing corner to like fine tune my coverage abilities. And then this year, I got to showcase it all.
So, do you have a 40 time? Because you mentioned working on your speed and your explosiveness and your versatility at the All Star game. And I know that probably we placed too much emphasis on 40 times, but do you have an updated one that you want to share?
The last time I ran it, or the last time that I have was a 4.47,
Wow.
and that yeah, I ran that coming into my senior year.
That the 6'3", 4.47. You could do worse playing
Yeah.
safety, having all of those abilities. How much have you gotten into film study? How much do you and your defensive teammates look at film and learn how to watch the game from that perspective?
It may sound crazy, but like I watch film sometimes, but majority of the time I don't watch film because I rather like I listen to my coaches a lot. So if my coaches tell me something, I trust them. So like I trust what they say. Then like after they say what they say, I might go back and watch a series or two to see if what they say is actually happening. But like I try to trust them a lot. But if it's not actually happening, I might end up watching a game or two to see the other team tendencies, see how the receivers line up. Because in high school, our receivers they line up almost the same. If they got an in breaking route, they're gonna line up wide. If they got an out breaking route, they're gonna line up tight. So like in high school, you really don't have to watch too much of film to know what a player's doing. But I know in college, I'm gonna have to do that. So I tried working on that a lot this year.
We're speaking with Dakaari Nelson, four-star safety commit from Alabama in the class of 2023 for Penn State football. Here on the BWI Daily Edition, getting you ready for early signing period. As always, for Penn State football, this time of year is a celebration, not just because of the holidays, but because of the class signing and all the hard work and all of the effort and all of the time and put in together to make things like this possible. So for fans that are getting to know you right now, and the first steps of this journey is you as a Penn State football player, what do you want them to know about you as a football player and as a person?
As a player, I'm gonna be the the quarterback of the defense. I'm a vocal player. I'm a smart player. I'm the player that you can rely on when it comes to calling audible for the defense, putting players in their position. And off the field, I'm a more laid back person. I don't really go out too much or being being a lot of stuff or around a lot of people.
Are you a homebody? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. I am, but like I know every now and then I will go out just because.
Well, good. I feel similar to that. I appreciate a good person that appreciates being at home. How much? I want to read something to you from Charles Power, one of our colleagues here at On Three. This is a quote. Nelson drew praise from the coaching staff a number of occasions for his effort and effectiveness in pursuit drills. Speaking of your time down at the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game, when it comes to that, I know this may seem like a silly question, but how much is pursuit and rallying to the football? How much of that is effort, and how much of it is something that some guys just don't know how to do? Is there a technique to it?
I don't think it's a technique. It's basically an effort. Like if you try to get there and like if you trying to make the tackle and you consistently doing it, then the ability to do it will come with that. So I think it's more effort.
Well, it certainly helps when you're running a 4.47 and you're 6'3" with length. That's a good advantage to have when you're running people down. On that note, this is from early October. That Ryan Snyder was putting together some keeping tabs on the class of 2023. 57 tackles, 6 interceptions, and in 9 games. How did you finish the season? Did you get any more interceptions? And what were your kind of like stats to end the year for Penn State fans that are curious?
Yeah, this year I think I ended the season with like 65, close to 70 tackles. I ended with 10, 11 picks, like 4 pick 6s.
4 pick sixes. That's
Yes,
pretty
sir.
good. um, I figured you could potentially play a lot of positions in the future. But the other part of this that I didn't mention was 38 yards per kick. Are you coming after the punting job too?
Nah, I just had to step up in that spot for my team because we don't really have a good kicker for real. So that's something I had to do, and I actually enjoy kicking.
So I want to get to know you a little bit more as person, non-football stuff. I might sneak in here because I can't help myself. But a couple of things, you and I both like to stay home. So Xbox or PlayStation, what's hooked up to your TV?
It's crazy. I don't even play the game, but I got both.
Oh, do you have a
Yeah. Oh,
preference?
nah, I don't.
Who's the
It's just
best
whichever. Like,
Madden? Go ahead. Sorry.
I would say it just depends on like who I'm playing with, what they have. So like, if you don't have a PlayStation, you got an Xbox, we can play Xbox. So it really don't matter.
Who's the best Madden player that you know if it's not you?
Uh, it's a lot of good people around here. I don't know. That's a hard one because it's plenty of people from down here where I'm from that play real good.
I don't know, like a high school boy. It's like the Olympics. You're competing with Olympic style Madden players at that point. So I believe it. You mentioned the drive up. Who was in the car with you on the way to State College? Who's sitting in the seats with you on the way up?
It was my 3 sisters, my mom, and my dad. Then on my official, it was my 3 sisters, brother. Sorry for that. I kind of cut out. You heard that?
Yeah, you said your brother, and then you cut out.
Yeah, my brother, my mom, and my dad. So I got a big family.
So you got 3 sisters and a brother. Is that your sibling lineup?
Yes, sir.
Uh, it, please tell me you're not taking like just a minivan. You got the Grand Caravan on the way up, right?
Now we're driving like a GMC type truck.
Gotcha. Okay. Favorite Christmas movie? Back to some holiday questions. Favorite Christmas movie?
Definitely Home Alone.
Yeah.
Home Alone without a question.
Not the second one. Not Lost in New York. You're saying the OG Home Alone.
Home Alone. I like all of them.
See, I'm partial to number 2. I couldn't tell you why, but I'm partial to number 2. But I agree with you there. Your Twitter handle is Trickster. What does that mean?
Cause you never know what type of player like you're gonna be playing against when it comes to playing against me. Some games I come out or like I'm on kill mode where I'm like, yeah. Well, where like if somebody run a post, I might go for the big hit instead of the interception. Some games I might go for the interceptions over the big hit. Then like with me, I like to play with folks. Like if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I might talk a little smack. I get to laughing. So it's like you'll never know what you're gonna get when it comes to playing against me.
Last question I've got for you. Favorite non-football activity? What kind of hobbies do you have? What do you like to do?
I like I like riding four wheels, going fishing.
You know, we just had Jackson Smolik on. He was saying that he enjoys fishing too. There's some really good bass fishing, I think, or trout fishing around here, I think. So you'll love that part. How avid of a fisherman are you? Do you got a story for me? What's the biggest fish you caught?
I just don't know. I done caught a lot because I have 3 ponds in my neighborhood. So over time, I done caught a lot of big fish.
Okay, last question. I promise you, last question. What are you interested in pursuing as a degree at Penn State?
I haven't made my mind up, but it's probably going to go somewhere closer to the business finance area.
All right. Well, we'll be excited to see you up here. We're excited to see the rest of your journey as a Penn State Nittany Lion. Dakaari Nelson, thank you so much for joining the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
That'll do it this week for the BWI Daily Edition. A lot of stuff happened to Dakaari today. So much stuff. We've got interviews with Patrick Kraft, James Franklin. We've got breaking news. There was another commit in the class of 2023 at linebacker this morning. We're recording this on a Friday. If you're watching this back on Saturday, you got a lot of homework to do. So subscribe to the BWI Daily Edition and Blue White Illustrated on YouTube. Make sure you like this video and you check out BlueWhiteIllustrated.com. Just $10 for now until next football season for insider access, so you can get all the information on all your favorite Penn State recruits, and then you get to meet them here on the Daily. We'll talk to you next week.